Welcome to the Reality Revolution. I just have one question for you. Do you really want prosperity? I talk about prosperity a lot on my channel. And I've tried to give techniques and ways to develop a prosperity consciousness, to gain prosperity in your life using reality creation techniques. We've provided different sort of affirmations and guidance from a number of different teachers. This is an ongoing mastermind on reality creation. And prosperity seems to be at the very center of creating your reality. This is where you gain your power and your energy. So the question I'm beginning to ask of people that come to me that are struggling in poverty is, do you really want prosperity? Even though prosperity consciousness is a natural part of you, even though you were born to be prosperous in every way, your prosperity won't come to you automatically. Is this stating the obvious? Maybe, but I say it because many people, and we've all met some, believe that all they have to do is show up at work and eventually prosperity will come. Others think prosperity is their right. Someone ought to come along and just give it to them. If you want prosperity in your life, you can't sit around and wait for it to happen. You must create it. And before you can create it, you must truly, earnestly want it. Your desire must be clear. It must be intense. The clearer and more intense your desire, the more likely you are to make it real. To know if you genuinely want prosperity, you need a complete mental picture of it. Then you must see yourself in that picture. If you can't imagine what prosperity is like, and if you can't imagine yourself experiencing it, your chances of creating it are very small. So the question is, what does prosperity look like? Well, if you read magazines or watch lifestyles of the rich and famous on television, or cribs, you might think that prosperity consists of sitting around on yachts, sipping tall drinks, or jetting off to Cannes for the film festival, or popping over to Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills for a facial and a massage. While a few folks do live that way, a few folks have found that level of opulence, the truth is, most prosperous people work, cook meals, raise their families, take care of their homes, and do all the things everybody else does. The difference is they do them at a different level of consciousness. A decade ago, I took a seminar conducted by Marshall Thurber, a man who had become a millionaire when he was quite young. He said, "People are constantly asking me what it feels like to be a millionaire." Well, I'll show you right now. And all of us in that seminar stirred with excitement. We were about to find out what it feels like to be rich. He told us to sit back in our chair and close our eyes. So we did. Now take a deep breath and let it out, he said. We did that. There. That's what being a millionaire feels like. Of course, everybody laughed throughout the room when they got his message. Being rich doesn't feel any different from anything else. He went on to tell the story of what happened the day he first realized his personal net worth finally totaled over $1 million. I went downstairs to breakfast and my wife said, "Marshall, take out the garbage." I thought, wait a minute, I'm a millionaire. Millionaires shouldn't have to take out the garbage. And nevertheless, the garbage needed to be taken out. And since there was no one else there to do it, he did. That garbage, he explained, taught him the best lesson he could have learned. Being rich doesn't exempt you from dealing with all the little things we must deal with in life. Fundamentally, rich people are just like everyone else. Or as W.C. Fields said, a rich man is nothing but a poor man with money. When your prosperity consciousness changes, in many aspects your life will stay the same. You still have problems to solve. You'll still get stuck in traffic. You'll still have good days and bad days. In short, you'll still be a human. But in many important ways, your life will be dramatically different. You'll live in a neighborhood that's better maintained and more attractive than the one you live in now. The homes will be larger. If you live in an apartment, the building will be more tastefully decorated. The front door will be more likely to be attended. You'll drive to work in a car that's newer and runs more reliably than your current one. If you don't drive to work, you'll be more likely to take a cab than a bus or a train. You'll dress differently, of course. Your clothes will cost more, look better, and last longer. You'll get your hair done more often. At least I don't have to do that. And because you'll be in a more prominent position, you'll probably keep it groomed more carefully. You'll still work, but your job will probably be less physical and more mental. You'll have more responsibility. There'll be more people asking you for advice and direction. More consequences will be attached to everything you do. In your free time, you may be doing many of the same things you do these days, but with different people. When you're prosperous, you won't have as much in common with the folks you spend time with now. You'll want to be with people who look, dress, and act more like you do. You'll spend a lot of time thinking about money, of course. You may do that already, but when you're prosperous, you'll have a lot more money to deal with. So you won't have to focus on making ends meet. As Johnny Carson said, the thing money gives you is the freedom of not worrying about money. Instead of worrying, you'll be reading financial journals, considering investments, talking to advisors, and generally trying to preserve, protect, and increase your assets. As we've seen, prosperity involves a lot more than money. I always say that in every prosperity episode. So the financial aspects of a prosperous life are much different also. When you become completely prosperous, you'll put an end to relationships that don't support and nurture you. You'll distance yourself from people in your life who've been draining you emotionally. Instead, you'll become closer to those who practice the prosperity principle of give and take. At first, it may bother you to lose touch with people you've known for a long time. But once you see how much they've been taking from you, you'll realize that losing those relationships is not costing you. In fact, it's paying off. Prosperous, nurturing people are more fun to be around anyway. When you're prosperous, you'll waste less time on useless activities like watching TV reruns and reading tabloids. You'll view life as being full of valuable opportunities and fascinating information, so you'll soon grow impatient when things that give you little or no value. When you're prosperous, you'll be healthier. Knowing you're a person of high worth, you'll be drawn to foods, exercise, and health habits that enhance that worth. You'll need and want abundant energy to enable you to fully enjoy the abundance in the rest of your life. Does this sound radically different from the kind of life you live now? If so, get ready, because a new and fully prosperous life can be a challenge to handle. Many, many years ago, and maybe you don't remember, there was a television series called The Jeffersons. A weekly comedy presented the adventures of a New York couple from poor beginnings who built a successful chain of dry cleaning stores. They did so well in business, they were able to leave their working class neighborhood and move to a plush high-rise on Manhattan's Upper East Side. The theme music for the program, Moving On Up, encapsulated the tremendous changes the Jeffersons faced in their more prosperous environment. I always hear that song in my head. I'm moving on up to the top. If you do what I am suggesting and become more prosperous, you, like the Jeffersons, will have to make the hundreds of adjustments your new environment will demand. If you now dislike or resent people who are rich or prosperous, you'll have to change your attitude. In fact, you better start changing your opinion of such people now. If not, you'll either sabotage your efforts to achieve prosperity, lest you become one of them, or you'll hate yourself when you've achieved prosperity because you've joined the ranks of people you despise. I've met people that are in poverty that want to find prosperity but are always complaining about the rich, how terrible they are. And finally, this can be the hardest part. You'll have to endure the scorn of those who dislike prosperous people. You'll have to resign yourself to being regarded as filthy rich or a snob or an exploiter of the poor, even if you're not all that rich and not snobbish and care deeply about the poor. Don't underestimate the importance of this. Financial prosperity can produce difficulty in your life just as readily as it can produce satisfaction and well-being. Before you commit to creating prosperity for yourself, you have to accept this possibility. I have a coaching friend who told me that he prefers to counsel people with a lot of money. Aside from the obvious advantage that they're able to pay more for his services, he'd rather deal with them because they already realize an important truth. Money won't solve their problems. People who don't have much money come in for coaching and say, if my husband and I didn't have these financial pressures, we could get along better. Or when I get a better job, I'll have time to spend with my family. Or if I just had enough money, I'd jump on a plane and get away from all these troubles. Once you've made money and seen that marital problems don't magically disappear, that high-paying jobs take up just as much time as low-paying ones, that you take your problems with you wherever you go, then you know the limits of what financial success can do. That's why it's important when building your prosperity to work on becoming prosperous in every area of your life. You must carefully maintain balance because balance is what well-being is made of. Before you start on your quest for prosperity, you must realize that every opportunity to increase your wealth has its price. Maybe it's more time, maybe you have to travel. There's always some price to it. Once you learn and begin using the secrets of prosperity, you'll see there's no limit to the amount of prosperity you can create in every area of your life. At that point, your biggest decision will be whether or not you want it. Right now, it's enough for you to know the effects of prosperity are not necessarily all desirable, and that prosperity won't necessarily bring you bliss. Often it brings you just the opposite. I'm reminded of the movie Trading Places with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd. They play a couple of hotshots who make a killing in the commodities market, then dash off to a tropical island to enjoy their wealth. The film's final scene shows them lounging on the beach accompanied by shapely young women, trying to decide whether to have steak or lobster for lunch. They opt for both. This is the classic notion of what happily ever after is supposed to look like. Make a fortune, head for paradise, live on the beach. Can you imagine a more boring, brain-numbing existence than lounging aimlessly on some isolated strip of sand for months at a time? Making money is not an end in itself. Having money is not necessarily enjoyable, and being wealthy can be a miserable experience. If money made people happy, every rich person would be ecstatic, and we know that's not so. The truth is, anything that puts distance between you and what you really want has the potential to make you unhappy. If it's important for you to spend time with your family and your new promotion keeps you away from home, how much good has that promotion really done? If you enjoy bowling with the guys from the plant and your newly achieved affluence takes you out of their league, did you lose more than you gained? In the single-minded pursuit of prosperity, it's easy to get fooled into thinking that making money is what it's all about. After all, the way we keep score is by counting the money. He who dies with the most toys wins, right? Maybe not. When you've achieved a level of financial success, but you're not happy with it, you know you've gone astray somewhere. This can be a devastating revelation. You think, I work so hard for this money. So many people want it. Why doesn't it make me feel better? Even though everyone's scrambling after money, that's not what they really want. Money itself is nothing. Pieces of paper, numbers on a statement. What you really want is an experience. That's why we're scrambling for money, because we believe money can help us get the experiences that we're looking for. Suppose you ardently love to skim over the open water with the wind in your hair and salt spray on your face. Money can buy you a boat, and the boat can give you the experience. However, if you make a lot of money, but are so busy you never get a chance to leave the city, what good will it do for you to buy a boat? The money and the boat itself will become sources of frustration for you. Before long, you may be wondering why you're working so hard. It might be better to work less and use the extra free time to hitch rides on other people's boats. This insight provides a valuable tool for building the kind of prosperity you want. Rather than building your prosperity out of money, possessions, or power, you can build it out of the experiences that fill up your life. The only experiences that contribute to my personal prosperity are those that leave me better off, healthier, happier, more fulfilled. So I measure prosperity by the number and quality of these experiences. Some of them require money and some don't. Yesterday, I went to a great basketball game, watched the Nuggets and the Lakers. This was a really great game. And my team won dramatically in the fourth quarter. And to be there, sitting with my wife, enjoying basketball, is an experience I value highly. But the ticket cost money, as did the parking and the refreshments. I consider myself prosperous to be able to afford such an experience. It can be worthwhile to ask yourself, have I been trying to build my prosperity out of money? Have I been striving to make money in the belief that it's the way to become prosperous? If you answer yes, I suggest you look at things differently. Look at something in your life that makes you money or costs you money. If it doesn't help you to make you happier, if it doesn't give you the experience you want, then get rid of it, no matter how wonderful you thought it would be. Let's say you work hard and buy a fabulous new car, the one you've dreamed about since you were a teenager. But your workplace is in a high crime area, so every time you go to work you have anxiety about your car being broken into or stolen. This anxiety diminishes, maybe even destroys the experience you were seeking when you bought the car. Possible solutions: rent a secure parking spot, take public transportation, drive a cheap car to work, and keep the new car safe at home. If none of these do the trick, then just sell the car and find some other way to create the experience it was supposed to give you. The experience is what was going to make you feel prosperous in the first place. By taking this action, you're refusing to allow a material possession to take your prosperity away. What I'm suggesting is not easy. It's hard to give up something that you worked hard for. If you become accustomed to certain luxuries that putting in long hours has given you, it might seem hard to make do without them. But if those luxuries are keeping you away from having the experiences you really want, you're better off doing the hard thing and getting them out of your life. When you do that, when you build your prosperity around experiences rather than money, you're putting the emphasis in the right place, on the end or the goal rather than the means. You're building your prosperity out of the right stuff. A prosperity you'll find hard to hate. A prosperity you'll want to keep in your life permanently. Imagine yourself standing in front of a mirror. What do you see? How do you feel about the person staring back at you? Our journey toward prosperity begins here, not with what we have, but with how we see ourselves. Self-perception is the bedrock upon which the mansion of prosperity is built. If we perceive ourselves as lacking, no amount of external wealth can fill that void. But when you see yourself as inherently prosperous, the external world begins to reflect that inner abundance. So how do you start to see yourself as prosperous? It's not about convincing yourself that you're something you're not. Instead, it's about recognizing the wealth that resides within you, your talents, your kindness, your capacity for love and growth. It's about acknowledging that prosperity isn't an external condition to achieve, but a state of being to embrace. Improving your self-perception is akin to cleaning that mirror we mentioned earlier. Over time, it gets smudged with doubts and fears and the critical voices of others, until one day you struggle to see your true self. Clearing away those smudges requires a gentle, consistent effort. So try this. Every morning, look at yourself in the mirror and name one thing you genuinely appreciate about yourself. It could be a physical feature, part of your character, or something you accomplished recently. This act of daily recognition begins to shift your focus from what you perceive as lacking to what is abundantly present. Another powerful technique is to recount your successes at the end of each day. Recount your experiences, however small they might seem. Acknowledge them. This reinforces your belief in your capability and worth, and in your own prosperity. It's like laying down bricks of confidence, brick by brick. You build a solid foundation. Remember, the way you speak to yourself shapes your self-perception. Words are powerful. They can either be seeds of growth or weeds that choke at your potential. Choose your words carefully. Instead of harsh self-criticism, Offer yourself kindness and understanding. Speak to yourself as you would to a dear friend. Shift your self-perception. This is not an overnight feat. It's gradual. It takes time. Some moments will feel like the first light of dawn and full of promise and clarity, and others might resemble the fleeting shadows of dusk. You will notice how your internal sense of prosperity begins to influence your external world. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach will start to align with your path. Relationships that nourish and support your growth will become more prevalent. You'll find yourself engaging in activities that enrich your life and the lives of those around you. Seeing yourself as prosperous is the first step in living a truly prosperous life. It's about recognizing the abundance that exists within you and allowing it to manifest in the world around you. So keep polishing that mirror. The clearer your reflection, the more unmistakable your path to prosperity becomes. What does it mean to be truly prosperous? Often we're told a story about prosperity that's as thin as a dollar bill, narrow, limited, and defined by numbers. Prosperity is less about the thickness of your wallet and more about the depth of your life. Redefining prosperity requires you to step back and look at the canvas of your life. Imagine that canvas. Money, sure, it's one color on the palette, but only one. There are so many other hues, relationships, experiences, growth, joy, and peace. These are the colors that give your life depth and richness. When you focus solely on the financial aspect, you're painting with a very limited palette. It's like trying to paint a sunset using only gray. Consider the non-financial aspects of a prosperous life. Think about a day when you felt completely at peace, or a moment of laughter shared with a friend. Recall a time when you helped someone and saw their gratitude and happiness. These moments are golden. They add a luster to your life that money can't buy. Prosperity as a state of being is about feeling rich in every aspect of your life. It's waking up in the morning feeling grateful for the new day, no matter what it might bring. It's about feeling wealthy in your relationships, rich in health, and abundant in joy. How do we cultivate the broader sense of prosperity? You must start by appreciating the wealth you already have. Gratitude is a powerful tool. It shifts your focus from what you lack to what you possess. Each day, take a moment to acknowledge something in your life that brings you joy, comfort, or peace. It might be as simple as a warm cup of coffee in the morning or the smile of a loved one. Next, invest in relationships. Spend time with people who uplift you and make you feel valued. These connections are invaluable. They enrich your life in ways that money never could. Give generously of yourself. Share your time, skills, or resources with others. Not only it will enrich their lives, but adds to your sense of prosperity. It's a reminder that you have enough to share, that you are part of a community. Seek out experiences that broaden your perspective and bring you joy. It could be traveling to a new place, learning a new skill, or simply taking time to enjoy nature. These experiences add depth and color to your life, enhancing your sense of prosperity. The true essence of prosperity is found in not having more, but in being more. Just by embracing this expansive view, you will open yourself up to a life that is truly prosperous. Money is outside yourself. Prosperity is within. Money comes from other people. Prosperity comes from you. Develop your prosperity consciousness and money will come in abundance. Turn your soil, aerate it, fertilize it, water it, plant seeds, and tend your garden. And the crops will come in abundance rather than trying to create prosperity by making more money. Do what you need to do to become more prosperous within yourself. Living a prosperous life every day isn't about grand gestures or monumental achievements. It's in the quiet moments, the small choices, and the simple habits that you weave the fabric of a truly prosperous life. Start your day with intention. Before the whirlwind of your daily responsibilities, take a moment to set an intention for your day. What do you want to bring more into your life today? Is it patience or gratitude, generosity, or perhaps joy? By setting your intention, You guide your actions and reactions through the day with purpose. Nurture your relationships. Prosperity thrives in connection. Make it a point to connect meaningfully with someone every day, whether it's a deep conversation with a friend, a heartfelt thank you to a colleague, or a kind gesture to a stranger. These connections remind us of the richness of your life beyond the material. Find your why. Motivation ebbs and flows, but knowing why you're pursuing a prosperous life can help anchor you during times of doubt or weariness. Your why is deeply personal. It could be for personal growth, for your family, or for the ability to give generously. Remind yourself of this why regularly, especially when motivation wanes. Surround yourself with inspiration. Create an environment that reflects and supports your vision of prosperity. Not just money. This could be as simple as keeping inspiring books on your nightstand, hanging art that uplifts you, or curating a playlist that fuels your drive. Embrace small steps. Remember, prosperity is built day by day, choice by choice. Celebrate small victories and be patient with yourself. Every step forward, no matter how small, is progress on your path to a prosperous life. Recognize and celebrate your achievements. We all rush from one goal to the next without pausing to acknowledge our own successes. Then it's no fun to be prosperous. Take time to celebrate your achievements, both big and small. Celebrate your milestones. This not only brings joy, but it will reinforce your commitment to this prosperous life. Share your victories. Share your successes with others. This will multiply your sense of achievement and joy. It helps you to imagine, because you imagine sharing your successes. It encourages you to pursue your own path to prosperity. Reflect and recalibrate. As you celebrate your achievements, take time to reflect on your journey. What have you learned? How have you grown? This can provide valuable insights for your continued journey and help you recalibrate your path to align with your evolving definition of prosperity. Living a prosperous life is an everyday practice, a series of choices, actions, and reflections. Do you really want prosperity? Can you put yourself into the picture of that prosperity and make it work for you? Can you envision it? Do you understand that your life will not change very much? You'll have greater options and greater potential to do things and have greater experiences. That's the real question. So affirm to yourself your prosperity. You can use these affirmations in your process of becoming prosperous. I see myself as the embodiment of prosperity, rich in talents, love, and potential. Every day, I am more confident in my ability to create prosperity in all areas of my life. I am worthy of prosperity and embrace it in its many forms beyond financial wealth. True prosperity is measured by the richness of my relationships and the joy in my heart, not just the balance in my bank account. I cultivate a life of abundance by appreciating the non-material wealth that surrounds me. Prosperity flows from a state of gratitude and contentment. I am open to its abundance every day. Each morning, I set an intention that guides me towards a prosperous day. I am committed to nurturing experiences that enrich my life and the lives of others. My reasons for seeking prosperity strengthen my resolve and illuminate my path. I acknowledge and celebrate my achievements, understanding they are milestones in my prosperous journey. I am truly prosperous beyond financial wealth in my daily experiences. I am experiencing the prosperous life. Large sums of money come to me easily and quickly to allow me to experience abundance in all its flavors. I am truly prosperous in all ways. Believe me when I tell you, prosperity is the sunrise on the horizon. Its rays are reaching out to touch every facet of your being. It is the warmth that bathes your spirit in comfort, the light that illuminates your path to greatness. This prosperity is inevitable when you embrace the inner joy that allows you to express this prosperity in your life beyond simple numbers. Do you really want to be prosperous? You can find all episodes of The Reality Revolution at therealityrevolution.com. And welcome to The Reality Revolution.